Recently, I watched a video by jazziiRed's talking about a metro system in Minecraft, trying to use codes to go to different locations in the system. So he had like a red code to go to the red station from anywhere, blue to go to the blue station, so on and so forth. And I watched it and I thought it was pretty cool, but I thought I could do something, I wouldn't say better, but different, a little more advanced and harder to build, but also having a little more flexibility. So the idea of this system is that every station has a, let's call it 5-digit code that you use to tell the system that you want to go there. And then you just get in your minecart, send the code along, and it'll take you there automatically. So you can see here I've got these stacks. These are the digits. So for example, we have here this white terracotta, and it can technically be anything, but basically the way I have it organized is that you can have, one color of terracotta as the first digit, some color of wool as the second digit, some color of concrete powder as the third digit, some color of concrete as the fourth digit, and then finally, if you wanted like a fifth digit, you could have some color of carpet like I have all the way over here. So these tell you where you're trying to go, but how exactly does this work? Well, the system is basically a big tree. If you're familiar with the computer science concept, you can imagine it like having hubs and spokes. So this is, let's call our central station. You can see it only has 2 digits that represent it. Now, technically you could have 0 digits that represent it or 1, but I'm just, this is a toy example. So we have the central station here, and from this station, we can go to a couple other stations, call them substations, or this maybe is a level 1 station, and those might be level 2 stations. So you can see I only have 2 of them connected up here. I have 5 in the system, but you could potentially have much more than that. So let's just imagine that our destination is going to be white terracotta, white wool, green concrete powder. So your minecart would come in here. The system would determine that you need to go off in this green concrete powder direction and send you all the way over here. And we would arrive at this substation with white terracotta, white wool, and green concrete powder. And let's just imagine that actually, instead of it ending there, there was another quote-unquote digit in our address, which was this orange concrete. So in all, our address right now is the white terracotta, white wool, green concrete powder, orange concrete. Then the system would determine, okay, got to go down this line, and we make it to this system, this station, and you can see there's further splits here. So each station has one quote-unquote parent station and a number of quote-unquote children stations that it can go to. So for example, in your world, you might have a main base, and then within that main base, there might be a couple of other locations you need to go to, and you could then have an extra base or a friend's base, and then there's a number of locations at that base. And so you can imagine you would sort of design your system as this like sort of hub and spokes type model. Okay, great. So let's just do a demonstration first. Just starting from the top here and showing us going down to some station. Now, I'm not actually going to travel in the minecart for this because I want to show what's happening. I'll show that later. So let's try to go all the way to this nether portal here. So our code here is these and this gray. By the way, I haven't connected up all of the lines because it's too much of a pain. So you'll just have to imagine that this is a fully connected system. So let's put our things in here and let's send this minecart off. You're going to see it's going to go in here. It's going to start extracting the items from here. It's going to do some processing based on what's in the items. It's going to eventually put them all back. And we're going to send the minecart off on its way. Now, the way that a player actually uses this is that a player follows right behind in a minecart. So this is like the piece of information that's telling the system where we need to go, and the player just follows this guy around. Okay, so now we're at the next station. We're taking out the items, and now we determine that we need to go down the orange path. We send off this way. We go down the orange path, continuing onward and onward. And now we make it to the final substation. Once again, doing some calculations on it. Putting the items back in. We need to put the items back in because every station needs to know where it needs to go. And finally, we're at our destination, which is extremely underwhelming, but that's okay. Alrighty then. So that's kind of a toy example though, because, you know, we just went down the path. But the beauty of this system is that as long as you have the address, any station can go to any other station. So let me do a demonstration of that. Here we went to this station. Let's go to this station, but let's start at a very far away point on the system. Let's start all the way over here. So to make it more representative, I'm going to go through. So the way you would actually use this is you would sit in here and press this button. That guy would go first. You would come right behind it. Once again, I'm going to just pretend I'm falling behind and just follow the minecart around. Okay, I tried to demonstrate, but I literally just forgot to put the items in. So let me just try this again. So let's press this button and go through. See the minecart going off on its way here. Making it to this station. See, at this station, it's reading the items in here. And the problem for this station is this one is the, you know, white terracotta, white wool, red concrete station. But this minecart has items other than that, which tells the station we're not even in the right vicinity. We need to go up a level to its parent, and then its parent can determine where to go from there. So this parent is just the white terracotta and white wool, which is present in here. So that tells us, okay, we're at least in the right vicinity. Now we need to go to the correct substation, which wasn't the red one, but in fact the green one. So we follow it. This system is designed basically to imitate IP addresses in the real world. In jazziiRed's video, he mentioned that he was modeling things off the internet, and I thought that's a good idea, but I don't think he took it far enough. So now we are going to orange, following it around, and finally from orange we'll go to gray. So you can see here that we knew, the minecart knew, the system knew, let's say, that sometimes we need to go up to the station a level above, and sometimes we needed to go down to a substation depending on where we were. Okay, great. Let's just do one last run. This time, let's go from here to over here. So, and I'll actually ride in the minecart this time. So the station we want to go to is this one. The black carpet here. Okay. In here. Put this here. Actually remember to put the address in. Get in the minecart behind it, and let's go. And we're going off on our way. Going to the parent station. So we basically stop here. We get stopped here while the system processes things with the minecart below us. So it's down there. Putting the items back in. Now we determine we need to go off this way. So in jazziiRed's video, he put the boat and he put a chest in a boat with the player. And that's really elegant. I just didn't want to figure out how to do that. There would be very little modification needed to the system to include that. I just didn't want to deal with it. He also said it was like a bug, not technically intended behavior. So I thought, you know, why not just be as... that was fun. I should have probably made those blocks glass. Why not just be as, you know, safe as possible and only use intended mechanics on this one? Each station has a bit of a delay as it does the processing. I'd like to figure out a way to speed that up, but for the time being, it's not a priority of mine. As you can see, we arrive at our destination with our address and everything's still here. Alrighty then, so that's the demonstration. And now let's talk about some specifics of how it works and some benefits and maybe downsides as well. So, okay, first, how does it work? Every station is its own module. Each station only needs to know who its substations are and who it is. Okay, so this is a 4-digit station, which means it has 5-digit destinations and a 3-digit parent. You can see the 3 digits there. So in other words, the code for this station is white terracotta, white wool, green concrete powder, yellow concrete. So what happens when that actually gets put in to the system? Well, the first place these items go, they get sucked out of here. The first place they go is into an item filter. And this first item filter is intending to determine, do we need to go to one of the substations, one of the destinations, or do we need to send it back up to the parent because we're not in the right vicinity? And the way that that's determined is very simple. If the minecart at least has all of these items in it, then we know we're roughly in the right place and we just need to go to one of the substations. If any of these items are different, then we're in the wrong place and we need to go to the parent. So the item filter goes through. We look for all 4 of those items in here. You can see there's all 4 of the items. That turns on these dropper latches, which will either turn on or off this line. So if this line is off, that means that we are in the right vicinity. We need to go to a substation. If this line is on, that means that we need to get out of here and go up to the parent station. Okay, so let's assume that we are in the right vicinity. So our address is white wool, green concrete powder, yellow concrete, white terracotta, and also black carpet. The also black carpet there doesn't mess with this. It just gets ignored and sent down to the next stage. And the next stage is where this item is relevant. So now in the next stage, this determines which path we need to go to. So you can see I've only got 2 paths, so I've just blocked these off, but I built it to handle 5. You could build it to handle more. I don't know. I just kind of felt like this was roughly a nice number to use. You can see we have white carpet here and black carpet. Very simply, it checks which item came through. And based on that, again, triggers a dropper latch here. And that decides which rail path we get sent down. A small note about building this in your own world. There are actually 2 varieties you're going to need depending on which way your station is oriented. So I guess this is, it doesn't say what direction I'm facing. I have my all, ever since the pie chart, the F3 menu updates, I don't have this set up right. Anyway, whatever direction this is, there's a station over here that points in the opposite direction. I think it's this one. And you can see we have these torches up here and slightly different wiring down here. And that's just because minecart rails are directional. And so depending which direction everything is facing, you might need slightly different wiring there. But that's really the only difference. Everything else is not direction or location dependent. So it checks the first 4 digits in this case to see that we're at the right parent station. And then it determines which substation we need to go to and sends the minecart off in that direction. That's all that each station needs to do. It just needs to know who it is and what its various children's stations are, what its various substations are. So what that means is that, let's say I wanted to add a new destination all the way over here, okay? So all the way over here, I'm going to add a new destination of, let's do lime concrete. Actually, no, let's not do lime concrete. Let's do black concrete, okay? So my new destination is going to be, okay, all 4 of these. I don't have to worry about the rest of the system. The only thing I have to do is add a new item to the various item filters here, a new hopper here that filters out black concrete, and automatically I will get sent here. There's no additional work required. And this is in contrast to jazziiRed's system, in which, as far as I understand, each station needs to know about every destination station, every possible destination in the network, to know what direction to send things off. So that is one benefit of this. You also, by the way, I just wanted to mention, you can go, so as I have it set up here, we've only gone to the destinations, as in like the final addresses, like this, where we just go to here. You can also go to another portal connected to the substation directly, let's say adjacent to the substation here. All you have to do is put exactly this code in with no additional codes, no additional blocks, and it'll send you through this one. Basically, it'll send you down this line, but you won't hit any of these, sub directions, and so it'll just send you into this nether portal. All right, so that's a benefit of this, is the big extensibility of it. In addition to that, the number of possible destinations you can have is absolutely huge, right? There's, let's just say it was 5 digits with 5 options each. That's something like 5 to the 5th, right? So that's a big number probably, I'm sure that it's big. Anyway, it's a lot of destinations, okay? So there's a lot of options here. Let's talk about some downsides of it. The first is that this contraption is relatively complex. It's really just 2 item filters with some extra doodads attached to it, but you also have to have some timing and resetting circuitry here. So that's a little bit annoying to build every single time. Another problem with it is that there's a hopper clock here. So the way that the thing that this hopper clock is doing is after we put our cart here, we need to put all the items back in it, right? Because the next station needs to know where we're going as well. We have to wait for the items to go all the way through the system and then come back here. I chose a simple, silent, observer-based dropper elevator here because I hate the ticking noise. This would have been slightly sped up by using a instant dropper elevator. Maybe also would have been improved with a water stream with soul sand in the bottom. So that would be some possible avenues to improve things. But I just felt like it's fine. So basically the delay here is 28 items worth for 5 digits maximum. With a little bit of wiggle room built in there. So I don't know how long that is in seconds, but you know, you saw the demonstration. We were kind of sitting at each station for a moment, which is a little bit annoying, but not terrible. Let's see if there's anything else to talk about here. You have to design your system in this way to make it work. So for example, at this station, I can only go to substations or go to a parent station. I couldn't, for example, go directly from this station all the way over to this one. That just isn't possible with the way the wiring works and the logic works. You have to first go to the parent, and then the parent will send you over here. So that potentially could be annoying. You know, if your world is structured like, here's a central location, here's a side location, then here's some like destinations related to that. Then let's do over here a side location and then some locations. So if your world was structured like this system is great, right? But let's say your world was structured like, you know, a bunch of equally spaced things all in of, you know, vicinity of each other. This is a little bit annoying, right? Because ideally you'd be able to go directly from here to there, and also directly from here to there, and also directly from here to there. Basically, you'd want to be able to do whatever you want in this little area. But what you'd actually have to do is divide it. You'd have to have 2 substations, and then these substations can connect like that. And then they would connect to each other. So, you know, that does mean it can be a little bit annoying. Relatedly, let's say you had 2 stations like this right next to each other. Now, you should just walk between them, like, you know, come on. But if you didn't want to, let's say they're like this. They're very close to each other and very far away from their parent station, right? Now what you're going to have to do is travel all the way from here to the parent and travel all the way from the parent back to the substation over here. That's kind of annoying, and it is a downside of this system. But I think you can probably get around this by just choosing your station locations intelligently. So it shouldn't be a huge issue. Okay, I think that's basically it. I think I'll put a world download for this so that you can see how it works. I would make a schematic, but I don't actually know how to do that because I've never done it before. A couple things to note about this that can be tricky. The first is when you download this, it's possible that this rail will get like reset and it'll be going straight like that. Just break and replace this and everything will be fine. Another thing is I had like some weird wiring here, so I had to use an observer into a copper bulb into this chain. Basically, this can get put into the wrong state. So it can be like this. And so you see the line here is off, but the rail is configured to send us to the parent station. That's incorrect. So what you want, and you only have to do this once, you just want to say, if this line is off, then this bulb is off. Very simple. Let's see, anything else to note? I think that's pretty much it. I didn't really design anything interesting for the destination stations here. I just am doing everything manually. I think manually is frankly the best way to do this, right? You know, you just put in the items you want, and you could have a big, you know, store of various kinds of concrete powder and black concrete and stuff like that to at each station in order for people to just be able to put that information in. But admittedly, you may want to have a more complicated system, maybe some common destinations of interest. You just press a button and the correct blocks to go there, the correct code to go there is automatically sent into the minecart chest, and so you don't have to worry about any of that. So that would be nice. It's kind of like how, you know, you can type in an IP address for a Minecraft server, or you can save that Minecraft server with a name. So having at each station some sort of saved quote-unquote destinations would be kind of nice, potentially. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to suggest anything about the system that could be improved, particularly with this redstone here. It's a lot of hoppers and a lot of observers and things like that. So if there's a way to make this both more compact and more survival friendly, I would be very happy to hear it.